I'm back, and we're going to fix a MacBook. Today, we have a MacBook that seems to not be turning on. Let's go over to my desk camera and see if we can fix this MacBook. Here, we have the MacBook. I'm going to plug it in. By the way, thanks to the kind folks at circuitspecialist.com who sent me the CSI 3005P link below, I can now show you the amount of amperage that the computer is using in the camera view again, at the very least, as long as I'm using a MagSafe 1 or 2. So as can be seen here, we don't get a green light in the charger, and it's taking 90 milliamps. So it's not taking an amp or half an amp, but it's taking 90 milliamps. And we're also not getting a green light. So when we don't get a green light, that typically means bad DC inboard, PP3V42_G3 hot missing, or the SMC is off. So what we're going to do here on this 820-4924 is see if the SMC is running. The way that I would tell if the SMC is running is quite simple. I would check the voltage on our PP bus, on PP bus G3 hot. On this computer, the voltage of the PP bus G3 hot is going to be set by the ISL6259. Our ISL6259, which you can see over here, is a chip that communicates with our system management controller. Now we've noticed that when the SMC is properly communicating with our ISL6259, with the data line, that the PP bus G3 hot that it creates is 12.56 volts on a MacBook Pro, and it's 12.23 volts when the SMC is not communicating with it. So let's see what we get on our PP bus, and see if we're getting the proper voltage. The superior PP bus, the greatest MacBook Pro. So, we do this, and we're going to check our voltage on our PP bus G3 hot. And as can be seen here, we get 12.27 volts. A sad voltage. A sad PP bus. Let's take the board out of the machine and see if the SMC is turning on, being asked to turn on, covered in liquid, or so on and so forth. So we're going to go back to our desk cam over here and remove the board from the computer. Someone says use code Rossman for 0%. Wait, 10% off? Hi, did you set that up?
No, I saw the email chain. They said
It says use offer code Rossman for 10% off of circuitspecialist.com. That's not true, is it?
that is true.
It is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I saw that email chain where they sent us the power supplies, and they were like, hey, use code Rossman for 10% off.
Okay. Well, if that works, it does. That would be quite interesting.
And if it doesn't,
And if it doesn't, you can complain at circuitspecialist.com.
or hi at rossmangroup.com.
Or hi at rossmangroup.com for programming the bot before confirming it online. All right, so we're just going to get all this stuff out of this little MacBook Pro over here. We're going to unscrew the board. Brandon, my health is fine. What you're seeing is the different lighting in the store. When I change lighting, you'll notice differences in what I look like. Okay. Someone says it's not 10%, it's 5%. Feel free to send a complaint to hi at rossmangroup.com. Also, I'm going to unplug the SSD because when we're soldering and adding heat to the board, there's no reason to do that to the SSD if we're able to remove the SSD from the board. On new machines, there's not really much you can do because they solder the SSD onto the board even though there's virtually no benefit to doing so. Everybody, let's take a moment of silence and thank Apple for soldering the SSD to the board in the newer models even though there's no benefit to doing so.
I mean, if this doesn't say 10% off, I don't know what does. That says 10% off.
They said if you'd like, yeah, they have.
Yeah, they've already done
Yeah,
it.
what the hell? Okay, Jake at Circuit Specialist said we've set up Rossman 10% for your viewers. Okay, well, what the... Yeah, so it's at least it's in theory it should be. Now, if we take a look at this board using this new $550 lens, which I sincerely hope provides a good enough image that you can actually see what's going on the board, just change our ISO a little bit. One thing you may be able to notice here, by the way, everybody thank hi at Rossman Group. Wait, no, don't, because I hung that mount, not him. Never mind. For the superior mount, let's give hi credit anyway, in spirit. Thank hi at rossmangroup.com for hanging the superior mount so that, as you can see, I can tap on the desk and there's only mild shaking rather than completely ridiculous seasickness when you are using the overhead camera. So one thing you may notice is that I can zoom in all the way to 135 millimeters in the overhead camera now. Now, if we take a look at the board, even when taking a look at the entire board, you can still see that there is this water damage over here. And remember, the SMC is the piece that is A, going to be responsible for a green light in your charger, and B, is going to set PP bus G3 hot to 12.56 volts rather than 12.23 volts. Now, thinking about things such as no green light in the charger. If you take a look at the charge port, which is over here, J7000. See? Take a look at this. This is where the charge port is going to plug into the machine, J7000. You'll see that there is a line called Adapter Sense. Adapter Sense is going to go to U7000. And then after U7000, that signal is going to go to the SMC via the Sys1 wire line. The SMC needs to be able to communicate with the charger in order to get a green light. No SMC communication, no green light. SMC covered in blue crap, no green light. Now, we have two signs of a bad SMC. A, PP bus G3 hot, which is controlled by the ISL6259, which communicates and gets its voltage information from the SMC, is 12.23 volts instead of 12.56 volts, which it is when the SMC is off. And B, there's no green light in the charger, which is created when the SMC is able to speak to it. So we combine that, and then we look at this little SMC, and man, look at that poor little SMC. Oh my, you poor little SMC. What has Kevin done to you? By the way, if you've noticed that the microscopes that you have don't focus in the camera the same way that mine do, it's because most companies don't sell the one with the mount that I have. As you can see over here, this is the mount that I am using. See this? Small mount? Most of them are selling that really long tube crap. I'm going to be getting microscopes with that mount, and I should be able to price match Amazon because, you know, Jeff Bezos is probably too busy spending money on Lauren Sanchez and the like. So we are going to be price matching those, I hope, within a month. Within a month, we should be having these microscopes with the proper piece so that there's none of that vignetting and the chromatic or whatever thing I can't pronounce that starts with an A. Aberration. So it's gonna look better. That's the technical term. We're gonna have microscopes that focus just as well as this one does. And we're going to be selling them for the same price, if not slightly cheaper, than the microscopes that don't focus well because they save $10 by buying the shittier mount. The difference in price between this, the good one, and the one that sucks is about $10. $10. Fucking horseshit. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at this SMC over here, and wow, that does not look good. So the most corroded components are going to be this thing over here, which it looks like it supplies PP3V42_G3 hot to our SMC on PP3V3S5 SMC VDDA. That's not good. And we also have much corrosion in the surrounding area. So let's see what we can do. Oh God. And we have resistors that are just coming right off the board when you touch them. Oh Lord. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do here before anything else is I'm going to try and remove the edge bonding from the SMC and give it a general reflow, because most likely we've got some corrosion that's under the SMC at this point, and that's going to negatively affect us in a terrible way. Big nozzle. Nasara's here. How are you doing, Nasara? Shanada. Rob Brown, you took a vacation. I'm happy to hear it. All right. Now these are going to come off nice and happy. Or not. We're going to make it come off nice and happy. Like so. Bam. Okay. Now, before I even get started with everything else, we're going to give the SMC a happy little reflow, using the proper amount of flux. Yes. We have a question for Pink Cinna. Would you like to join me for dinner along the river? Oh shit. My fume extractor is far away. It's no good. Now what this is going to do is it's going to help resolder any of the things that are kind of falling off before I get started and really digging into everything. Okay, we gave it a mild poke. Now we're going to remove you. Remove you and you. You. Notice how I'm adjusting the temperature by moving the hot air further away from the board. Miss Sarah says there's still flux left in the tube, not enough in the board. Good eyes. Miss Sarah, have you opened your board repair business in Sweden yet? I hope you have. I'm rooting for you. Paul Daniels is here. Everybody wave to Paul Daniels. He's a programmer. Okay, that area appears to be cleaned up now. Beautiful. Now we're going to add a little bit of flux, try and patch up those probe points, make this a happy little SMC again. Let's see what it is that we have around here. So we've got a PP3V3 capacitor for 3.3 volts going to the SMC. There's a reference voltage for the sensors. Another capacitor for that. Yeah, all sorts of stuff that's probably shorted to ground over here. But now it's not.
I'm already in.
Whoops. Just suck something up. No shizzle.
Yeah.
Now, some of these pads are most likely going to need jumper wires in order for something to attach to it again. I agree with Dafty Kins. Your stream was excellent. I'm just going to get myself an 820-4924 donor board, so I'll be right back in just a moment. 77 words a minute.
No!
Do you wanna?
Wait, I'm losing! Who was why? I was beating them! Oh. I was beating you, you fucking... Oh!
Oh, okay.
Why?
Please come in here again and say.
I was almost done. Lewis had to come in. Oh.
Thank you.
Are you versing him or?
Yeah, we're versing each other. I was leading!
Second time, first place.
No! Why?
How do I join?
Join. Wait, add
You want
Lewis,
to
add
join?
Lewis.
Yeah.
How do I? Here.
Give stream that.
Temporary intermission for typing race.
Alright, I
Oh,
got
that
it.
was cheating. Dude, I was blowing you. I was 77. I'm blowing by you.
I'm sure you were blowing something.
Hey. God damn it.
So what site do I go to?
Send him the link.
Who's just going to destroy us now?
No. I'm winning.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm ready to get him back.
We're taking a very short commercial break from fixing this board to beat the crap out of everybody at the office in a typing test. So how does...
Join? Not yet.
I have to, yeah, I joined. I just have to put it on screen.
Yeah, don't like when we say hit join. Ready?
Wait, you can't see.
Wait, so do I hit join now, or how does this work?
No, like what?
You guys ready?
Ready? Yeah, wait.
Join.
I hit join race.
You went.
So,
There's 5. Oh man, this is long. Oh fuck.
what? There's a little dialog box that popped up. I'm getting dialog boxes. That sucks. 80 words a minute is trash.
Yes! No, I'm third! Who's first?
Wait a second. I started typing after all of you because I had a dialog box. How the fuck did I win? That's pathetic.
That is pathetic.
Who's second?
You're getting owned by Skag Repeat.
You're second?
You're playing second.
Wait, let's do a rematch because I was
Still rematch.
no because I didn't know that you had to do it. I didn't know how accurate you had to be.
No, you have to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I.
You're hitting backspace.
No, I didn't even know that I had to click X on it, so I kept typing for 30 seconds.
Who was 18 words per minute? Oh my goodness.
Probably Kevin.
I think a streamer joined in. A viewer joined in, I think.
Mikey's typing with 2 fingers.
Wait, so how do you redo it? How do you rematch?
It's gonna join a new one in like 5
Yeah,
seconds.
no, in like 5 seconds.
Oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. The cock?
Do we just join right
The
away?
clock.
Yeah, join.
Join. Go.
Oh shit. Another big one. God damn it.
You guys are gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Oh, I put pugs. Oh my god.
Dev, you guys all got your ass kicked again, but still, 99 words per minute is a joke.
Lewis.
No way.
I'm in first place again. That's slow. I usually get 117. I must be tired or something.
Alright.
Why are you all so fucking slow, though?
Wait,
Damn, no wonder you all suck at doing fresh desk. Who the hell got... Wait, who hasn't finished yet? Who's still typing?
There's 2 people still typing.
Whoever's still typing is to get fired immediately. Alright, fuck it. Okay, back to board repair. Back to boring ass old board repair.
One more.
Okay, fine. Fine. Fine, one more. One more.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Your speed? I hit try again? Or...
Yeah, it's gonna match up again 10 seconds.
Okay, I gotta be able to get at least 3 digits. This is fucking pathetic.
Oh man.
Going right away. Alright,
6 seconds. New race.
Okay, this might be something I can do.
That's not supposed to mean anything.
Yes, finally. Okay, closer to the... You're all still typing, aren't you?
Wait, who's 112? Lewis.
God damn it!
Wait, where am I?
The thing is, he's remembering it and then he's typing it. That's cheating. You can't do that. You can't do that, cheater.
69.
I don't know.
Because I just beat them.
Who's-
That was you?
I want to
He's
say...
bottom Frank anyway. Look, I can't hit over 80 usually. Like, that's my limit. Because he's remembering it and then he's typing that shit out. That's where you're supposed to do, yeah.
I type with 2 fingers. How are you guys getting home by this? Wait, let's do one more so people can see just how shittily I type. One more. I'm going to have picture-in-picture with the desk camera.
Yeah, put the desk down.
Join race right now?
Nope.
Wait, I have a window up. How do you get rid of this?
Hit the X button.
Another short one. Lewis is gonna win.
Wait, why is it...
Wait, he has
You
the text
actually have to
bubble.
type it.
Wait, I'm not at the window. I'm not in the game. What is this shit? No, I mean, I'm not in the game.
Fuck. Who's 75?
Of course, me. See,
Wait.
without Lewis, I win every game.
Okay, let's do
Every
it.
game
I
I'll
won the
win.
first 2 games. What are you
Yeah,
talking
because
about?
he cheated for you.
No, I won the
Right
first
now,
2
right now.
games.
With Lewis, I'll lose, but it's fine.
Wait, join race.
We gotta do a long paragraph. Because Lewis just remembers it and then he just.
I won.
No, short one.
No, long one.
No.
Remember it.
What? How does remembering it make any difference?
Yeah.
Remember it and then.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
I know. I just literally looked at time. You guys are cheaters.
No, I look like a word ahead. I'm,
Alright, join.
It's joining a new one in like 5.
Yeah, 5 seconds. Alright.
Oh my god, Hi put his name.
yeah, everyone can see how shit.
Are you in?
Oh god, this is so short.
I plan to leave. You want me to stay? Well,
I think you want me to stay. Okay.
Okay. Gotta take out my watch.
– 135 words per minute with 2 fingers.
Second. How the
Hi, what is this window that keeps popping up, and how do I make it go away?
Wait, who the fuck was 135 words per minute?
Me.
Lewis!
2 fingers. Wait, but why does this window keep popping up?
I think because you're so
that
good.
kept popping up.
Wait,
too,
you look.
by the way.
We have to ask everyone who gets over 100 words per minute in a race to take a short typing test to discourage cheaters. It thinks I'm cheating.
To take it.
I'm on camera. How can I be cheating? You can see that I'm using my 2 fingers. Let's see. Begin test.
Lewis is really good at fingering with only 2 fingers.
I'm very good at fingering.
He's really good at fingering.
Yeah. This thing thinks I'm so good that I'm cheating. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, we're done.
I'll take it as a compliment that the computer thinks I'm cheating because I'm so much far ahead of you all.
Sword, Kevin.
Be like that.
And if you can't do fresh desk at that speed, you're fired. Okay. Where
Oh, God.
we have that's a lot of bullshit that I'm gonna have to edit out of the board repair video. So back to this board repair. So we're gonna reattach those resistors that are the capacitors that are going between PP33S5, AV ref for the SMC, and ground. Now, the one thing we're gonna have to do here is check out where these what points are supposed to be attached to one another. So, looks like this is all supposed to be one piece. This is a probe point, but that's the probe point that's actually going to go to the SMC. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We may have to take off the SMC and run a jump or a dig here. Boo. Well, let's see. One way to find out, right? I can't believe the website thought I was cheating. I read none of your chat, ever. No, I'm kidding. I read everything besides Copass. What the hell is that? That's not a pad, that's a shit stain. My X-Acto knife is gone. Okay, so we're just going to use a tweezer instead. See, what is that point for that's broken down there? That is... Ooh, Luckily, that's not a point that's going to the SMC, that's going to here, so I can actually just run a wire there and I'll be fine. Does Paul have a heart attack when he sees how much flux you use? No. Paul simply learns when he sees how much flux I use what the proper amount to use is, takes his cue, and then begins using the proper amount of flux. People who do not use the right amount of flux will no longer find themselves employed at Rossman Repair. And it looks like that resistor flew off the board. Yay. Okay, donor number 2. Paul Daniels is leaving. Everybody remember, Pirate Paul Daniels is software. I got a book on it and my cat. I have a cat. I have a cat. My cat's name is Blackberry. Blackberry goes meow, meow. It's more like meow, meow. She's such a cute little berry. Okay. Alright, let's hope that there's something going on under there. Alright, let's see what happens if we plug this in. Well, what do you know? 300 milliamps? $84 milliamps. Our PP bus? What? 0.1 volt PP bus? We did not go downhill, did we? PP3V42 is 0.8? Am I being trolled here? DC in is believe I am being trolled. Let's see. What is our DC in voltage? $18 here. 15 here. Is that inrush resistor any good? You're 39 ohms. What are you supposed to be? R7020 is supposed to be 47 ohms. High resistance to ground. 0 ohms to ground here. Okay, now that's interesting. PP bus to ground is there. Let's do diode mode. That'll give us a faster measurement. PP3V42 is now shorted to ground where it was not before. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Interesting. 0 short to ground on PP3V42. Alright, well, let's put some voltage into the board, see what gets hot, see if there's anything obvious. Sigh high. Sigh. My power supply software is here. We're just going to adjust that to...
So what I would recommend is extract the data as soon as possible. Yeah, we'll get it there, but I would go on. What time is your flight? Is that when's the latest you can pick up? I should say.
Whoa. Check that out. Ready? 1, 2. Whoa. You want to see the board go on fire? You want to see a fire?
Fire?
racer, and the last person gets fired.
I think that's a great.
And then it continues.
No, the payroll will go down.
I'm gonna be the only one here, but still.
Wait. So what's your idea? What is the idea?
Type racer, and the last spin on each round gets fired.
Yeah, fresh desk will get answered faster. I approve.
No, I got first place 2 times.
Okay, let's see if we.
Yeah, then you, right? And then I.
Okay, looks like we fixed our problem. That's interesting because that was not happening in the beginning, but that clock chip must have decided it didn't like me working on this board. This is the thing about liquid damage people don't understand, is that it's an ongoing corrosive process. It continues, I mean not corrosive, it's an ongoing degenerative process. Thank you very much, Defcoin. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. It continues getting worse, so you could have a machine with no backlight, send it in the mail, by the time it arrives it's dead. Hi, did you put the edited file on my drive?
I still have to delete.
What about for the connector one? Is that on my drive?
That was put it there.
Thank you very much.
Alright, Lewis, good night.
Thanks for everything, Steve. See you later. Hard drive video tomorrow? I'll take that as a yes.
I'll just leave it set up.
I'll add that to the end of the next board repair video I do that's successful. So,
Good night, guys.
that's actually a very common spot for this board to get a hole in it. Because when that short circuit's hard, and you'll see many machines with 820-4924, 820-3476 boards, where there's an actual hole in it by the PP3V42 line going into the clock chip. Sad, but common. But sad, but common. Okay. Somebody, you forgot a $131 super chat, did I? Oh, I don't have this dinging, that's why. I don't have this set to ding. Shit. I'm sorry, people. That is bullshit of me. Let me load this up and see what I missed. Yeah, I didn't have my amplifier on, so I didn't get the little ding noise. Let's go over all the ones I missed. Log into Streamlabs, log into this. Okay, we have Mott Wally for $131.72. You didn't say anything. Well, I highly appreciate the $131. Holy shit, that's way more than I deserve, but thank you very much for that, Mr. Mott Wally. Rockford says, my 3D printer is being stupid, also I'm getting better at soldering. Good stuff, Rockford Tech. I can't 3D print for shit. That's one of the things where I think you kind of get to... Becoming a grandpa doesn't happen overnight. It happens over 10 or 20 or 30 years of just not learning new stuff, and I'm starting to become a grandpa because I don't know a damn thing about how to 3D print anything. I haven't had an interest in learning, and it's when you realize that you don't have an interest in learning that you then start to become a grandpa. I really don't want to become a grandpa with that stuff. But alas I am. Rehop PB3V42 with fire. Maybe Copass. Thank you to Craig Lynn and DEF CON as well. That's way more than I deserve for him. Rehad High with cattle prod is the one that I'm interested in. Okay, so now the moment of truth. What do we get? Does this board work? Do we have a successful board repair video for Hi-Hi to edit? Or is Hi-Hi getting fired? Oh, yeah, I need this thing to be at 18 volts, not 3.2. My power supply is at 3.2 volts right now. Alright, 18.5.
See, the thing I hate about that is that you can't independently control it from.
Hey, we get a green light. 350 amps are being taken. PP bus. Where's my PP? Well, this one doesn't have the fan spin immediately because Mac.
I didn't see it. I thought I saw
Apple.
some fans,
12.58 volts. All right, fan. Spin! 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 It's an Apple product. So what's really interesting about this particular year is that it's a very similar, if not identical, design to the prior year, except for the processor being one step above and it using quad SPI rather than the old type of BIOS. But what's interesting here is that the fan, it has the same heatsink, it has the same fan, but the fan won't spin for an additional 20 to 30 Celsius prior to where it was before. So even if the heatsink is burning to the touch to the point where, ow, it hurts my finger, this machine is going to have the fan just sit there and let the machine CPU burn. Because Apple. Think different. So we're going to sit this here, and we're just going to torture this thing until that fan decides to spin. Because when the fan spins, the board is fixed. And here you can see, the board is fixed. So we most likely had a short to ground on PP3v3 AVREF SMC. Our SMC was not working. We determined our SMC was not working because A, there were two things in common. The sub A1 is going to be with no green light. Sub A2 is going to be PP bus G3 hot, which 12.23 volts rather than 12.56 volts. You really should understand what that means. On an Air, 8.5 volts means your SMC is working. 8.1 volts means it doesn't. On a Pro, 12.5 volts means your SMC is working. 12.2 volts means it doesn't. And B, there was a blob of crap on top of the SMC. We fixed that. We smoked every employee here in a typing test in spite of the fact that I can only type with 2 fingers like a noob. And we fixed the board. So thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope you learned something. With that being said, I'll read some of your chat and then get out of here. So let's see what your chat says. We're going to have a Q&A session because I have to wait here for about 14 minutes for Erica to arrive. So I have 14 minutes to read chat and see if there's any interesting questions, comments, concerns. See you later. Thanks for everything. Hi, Lewis. You've inspired me to get more into soldering. P.S. I really want to damage Ultrasonic Cleaner, but I'm in California. Ah, you're the guy I emailed sarcastically. Yeah, so I have a lot of people asking why is that Ultrasonic Cleaner local pickup only, and it's because I don't have a box to it. And a lot of the thing is, when I'm mailing that Ultrasonic Cleaner overseas, it sucks, but a lot of those cleaners actually wind up getting damaged in the original ridiculously hardy packaging. So I can only imagine what's going to happen with a box that I put together myself. IBM over Lenovo ThinkPad. I like the keyboards that they were using before, but at the same time, Lenovo was using the keyboard that I liked all the way up until the T530. I like the T520 keyboard. You know what I'd really like? What I'd really like is the ability to use the T520 keyboard with an actual desktop. So I was looking it up, and I was hoping that it would be something like a Mac. This is one of the areas where I kind of like Mac. Let me rephrase that. This is one of the few areas where I would prefer what Apple does. So Apple has the keyboard and trackpad and everything going to a hub typically. That has a USB hub. That little USB hub has outputs, and then I could just wire that if I wanted to. So on an A1278 or an A1286 or an A1297, if I wanted to use the keyboard and trackpad, all I need to do is wire out from the MacBook just 2 little wires, or 4 little wires. So I have to send 5 volts or 3.3 volts to the chip, 5 and 3.3 to the keyboard, 18 volts for the trackpad, but then just wire out my USB positive, USB negative, wire it to a USB plug, and bam, plug it in, I'm good. What I want is I want to be able to use the ThinkPad T520 keyboard on my desktop. Because I don't want to just because the keyboards they have that you could buy suck. They don't have the palm rest. They're all used and shitty because they're old. I want to be able to actually hold the ThinkPad and then have some wire thing coming out of it that allows me to use the ThinkPad T520, wire something from there to my desktop, and be able to use that as my keyboard and trackpad. Because I don't like having to use a mouse or a trackball. I want to be able to actually use the... Thank you. I want to be able to actually use the laptop keyboard and track point with the desktop. And nobody has one that's good. There's no keyboard that has a track point in it that is actually good. There's that little shitty one that Lenovo makes that has no palm rest using the modern interface. It sucks. Yeah, I would like to be able to actually take this, well, at least a version of it that's not disgustingly dirty, have some wires coming out of it and just plug that in. But they use a keyboard controller, which is part of the BIOS chip, I think, and it does some sort of funky communication with the CPU. I don't know. It's fucking complicated. But I would love to be able to do that. Is that a W520? Oh, hell no. What is that?
No, this is an X something.
It's an X something.
It's an X300.
It's an X300. That's less powerful than an Android phone now at this point. If you live somewhere you needed a car, would you get an electric car? Probably not an electric car, probably an electric motorcycle. I feel weird with cars. It's a tank. Yeah, I don't mind if you want a car. It's just for me, I see a car as a tank. It's more difficult to park. It's unwieldy. I don't want to be in a tank. I don't need a tank. A bike is enough. If I lived in a city where you needed a car, maybe I'd get a faster Bafang at some point, maybe an electric motorcycle, but the electric motorcycles suck. I don't want a gas-powered car. I don't want a gas-powered anything, honestly. It's obsolete technology to me. It's like using an incandescent light bulb. I don't want gas-powered stuff. The fact that it exhausts little puffs of smoke, it goes... You know, an electric car, when you're just sitting there, it's... Zing! With a car, it's... It just... ugh. Obsolete shit. I don't want a gas-powered car. If you want a gas-powered car, that's your business. It's just... I don't want to use obsolete old crap. I know there's a lot of guys that actually like the sound of an old Lamborghini or something going... Vroom! I hate it. It's lame. It's just... ugh. Excess noise. Crap. What I like is silently going... Vroom! That's cool to me. Thank you, Erica. Let's see, what else do we have here? How long until Lewis starts an electric car repair business? You know, I've talked to Paul about doing Tesla repair, and he implies that he's going to quit the day that we start doing anything remotely like that. He worked for about 20 years as a mechanic, and I think that he's done with that. Whatever car did your parents have growing up? My dad had a Delta 88 1989 Oldsmobile up until 2006, and then we just took the train after that. Which replacement modem has Spectrum given you? I'll find out tomorrow which replacement modem Spectrum gives me. I've actually had an issue with PFSense. PFSense just was not allowing free PBX to register properly anymore. I tried forwarding every port and everything the way that I normally would. It didn't work, so I just went back to the shitty Aris modem router combo. I hope to figure that out later, but I'm not a network administrator. I'm kind of more of a dumbass, so I haven't really figured it out yet. But I hope to figure that out soon. Because I need a failover system so that when Spectrum fails, I can go back to the T-Mobile. Can I have a blue Jolly Rancher with my order on store.rossmangroup.com? We used to give Jolly Ranchers away with the orders. We stopped because we had a complaint from somebody saying, it seems like this arrived somewhat outside the packaging. Is this okay to have? I figured that you would be safe. What if I ate this? Would you be covering liability if I ate this like that? And it didn't seem like a troll. It seemed like somebody who was just really excited with a hard-on to sue somebody. And as your business grows, you are going to get to a point where if 0.001% of your customers are dickheads and you have 100 customers, then you don't have a real person. If you have tens of thousands of customers, then that 0.001% really matters. And it sucks that you have to cater to them, but you do. So we don't include Jolly Ranchers anymore because you've had two people act like total complete cunts when the post office messed up the box, imply that I was trying to poison them, take it way too seriously. And yeah, I don't really feel like opening myself up to a lawsuit over candy delivery. Let's see. Check out OPN Sense like PF Sense with less headache. I just reinstalled PF Sense. I'm going to see if it works before I leave. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then I'll check out OPN Sense. Thank you. I need help finding a PP bus on my Tesla. I called your shop looking for Ryzen mobile CPUs. If you have any, I'll pay money for one. I don't have Ryzen mobile CPUs. You know what I do have is I have a lot of MacBook donor boards. Some of them even have CPUs on them. Untested. You know you want it. Would you consider moving out of New York? If so, what state would you like to move to? I don't know. I really want to go exploring to find the state I want to move to. It's definitely not going to be California. It's definitely not going to be Massachusetts. It's definitely not going to be New York. Yes, I've visited California and Massachusetts. They don't exactly seem to be places that would be friendly to me. I've visited Kansas, a little too dead for me, but I kind of like the deadness of it. But it was a little too dead for me. It was very slow. Like, New York is a little too fast, but Kansas was a little too slow. I visited Hawaii, way too fucking expensive. It's all the expensive New York City with none of the business that I would expect to get as a result of being in a major metropolitan area. Like, here, you get raped on rents and everything else, but at the very least, you're in the financial capital of the world, so I know that there's demand to be here. I can actually charge a respectable rate. I can have if I'm good at what I do, I can have a line out the door of customers. I'm not paying that rent to live somewhere that's dead. You should visit Dallas, Texas. I will try Dallas. Yeah, I'll check out Dallas sometime. Seattle? No, Seattle is like version 2 of New York. Like the gentrification and the hipsters and the what's the word? Monolithic political ideologies and the overcrowding and the traffic and the rents being over $2,600 to $4,000 for a studio apartment. Like, I want to go away from the whole $2,600 for shithole studio apartment thing. I want to go away from, an hour of traffic to go 2 miles kind of thing. And Seattle really seems to be a lot of the ridiculous traffic, the overcrowding, the hyper expensiveness, the hipsterism. It's like, from everything that I've heard and from what Eli the computer guy said about going to Seattle and from what I see and hear, Seattle seems like New York sister or junior. And I do have a lovely apartment. I do, and it took me 23 years to find that apartment, and I really don't want to have to go someplace where it's going to take me another 23 years to find a deal. I keep in mind, I have a lovely apartment, but that is in a neighborhood where people regularly shoot at each other. So check this out. I got this call from my landlord the other day saying, somebody broke in. You really can't leave you can't leave a package in that little doorway. So there's a door that you go in, and then there's a little room with mailboxes, and then there's another door that you go in to get into the actual building. So I got a delivery from Amazon. I didn't really know what was happening. It was cat litter because all the local bodegas were out of cat litter for some reason. So I buy my cat litter, and it's sitting there. The box is half open. You can fucking see it's cat litter. Somebody broke through the glass and started trying to beat the crap out of the door so that they could fit their hand in to try to steal what was in the box. They did this all over Fresh Step. I'm not talking... Okay, Fresh Step is kind of high-end cat litter compared to the shit you get at the bodega. But like $15 worth of cat litter. Somebody destroyed a door for this. Yeah, I do have a nice apartment, but that, I have a nice apartment. I can't trust that if my cat litter arrives at 2 p.m., that it will still be there at 9 p.m. without my door being broken into. It's just... I mean, this is not where I want to live for my whole life. Check it out for yourself. Seattle is incredible. Again, I'm not looking to live someplace where a shitty... not even a good studio apartment, but a shitty one is $2,600. That's just not for me. If it's for you, great. Again, it would be different if I lived somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But I've already lived through that. I've spent 30 years of my life in the overcrowded, ridiculous traffic all the time. Everybody's crammed into not enough space, and there's hipsters everywhere thing. I did that already. I don't really think I want to do that again. Leave them the used cat litter. You know what? That's a good idea. What do you think, Hi?
Yes.
Putting used cat litter down there?
What do you think?
Times 2 in Dallas, best move I ever made, and you've got some universities in DFW. Universities mean MacBooks. Every college kid has one. What is that?
What do you think about this? We strapped a GoPro to a Nerf gun. Well, Paul did, and then
I like it. I like it.
But
I really like it. I'm currently in the middle of nowhere, and I'd like to retire in the city where it's 24/7 stuff. That's the other thing. People think that New York City is 24/7. It's not. If you want to get drunk, there's a bar open all times a day. If you want to go to a crappy bodega where there's a cat that doesn't clean its ass walking around regularly, rubbing itself on overpriced wheat thins, there's that. If you actually want to do things, New York is not 24/7. The city closes at 7 to 9 p.m. If you want to get wasted, you can get wasted at any time of the day. If you want to go to a ghetto liquor store, you can go to a ghetto liquor store and buy liquor at any time of the day. But it's not 24/7. Everything here closes. If I want to go to a bike shop even a bike shop. There's only one bike shop in a 2-mile radius that does not close before 6 p.m. And they suck, and they put axles on backwards, and they can't install disc brakes, and meh. Can't ship a dented ultrasonic cleaner. Can you ship an NL? For the right price, I will ship an L. I think we had Kevin. Kevin was at the going rate for Kevin was $250,000. An L is actually useful. He can fix things, and he doesn't type at the speed of a turtle with HIV. So an L would probably go for somewhere closer to $750K. Trade you where I'm at now. There's no restaurant open past 5 p.m. on a Wednesday. There's no 24-hour grocery. The nearest Target is 40 miles away. The nearest Walmart is 25 miles. Where do you live, Heather? Okay, not address, just general idea. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, you can buy me for $4.99.
If you edit video faster than Hi-Hi, you can come live here.
5 easy payments of $4.99.
5 easy payments of $4.99 gets you a Hi-Hi. Yeah. Have you seen this issue before? MacBook Pro LED screen discoloration spots touch bar. Let's see what it is that you're referring to. Let's see. How do I copy and paste this message? Wow. Sheep chat doesn't have copy paste. Sukblat. All right.
I mean, it is Russian software, so
It is Russian software. I guess it's better than Australian software. NYC is not for New Yorkers anymore anyway. It's a fake trend hub. Exactly. What is this? So this over here, see this discoloration mark? This means that the computer most likely failed to go to sleep. This is my guess, based on experience. So this over here is a heat mark, where it was heated for a long period of time. The thing is at the top of the screen. I would expect this to be closer to the bottom of the screen where the heatsink is. So I would not be expecting this at the top. I'd be expecting this closer to the bottom of the screen over here. But that's usually a heat mark. That means a lot of heat got there, and typically the way a lot of heat gets there is if you close the machine, it's still on. It doesn't go to an S3 state. It's still in an SO state, and it's in a bag where the hot air has nowhere to go. So it's just the heatsink is burning. But I haven't seen much of that. I've seen it on different laptops, but it's rare. Why don't you like Massachusetts? I actually used to have an Instagram where I would take pictures of random things I saw walking around Cambridge, Massachusetts. A little too far to the commie end for me. It was nice to some extent, but not quite a culturally compatible fit there. And if I wanted to rent a store in anywhere, it's so fucking expensive. It's so fucking expensive. I mean, Massachusetts is the same shit that New York is, where $3,000 or $4,000 for your shitty little studio apartment, unless you go into the absolute outskirts. In which case, why do I want to live there to begin with? Move to Florida to be a Florida man story. Yep. Florida, because when I was in Massachusetts, there were the nice areas. The nice areas are insane. And then the areas that are normally priced are not as nice or as convenient as what you could get in another state that's not ridiculously overpriced. Yeah, if there's a place called like the Marxist Education Center or something that's 3 blocks away from my apartment, I'm just saying that's probably not a place that's going to be friendly towards me. Florida man fixes MacBooks. I like Florida. I actually really enjoyed Florida while I was there. I thought Florida was great. I enjoyed my time in I think it was Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, I enjoyed Fort Lauderdale. Florida's scary. You might get robbed every other day unless you're willing to carry a gun. Oh, Florida's not scary. I live on a block right now where they have a 25,000 watt light bulb. And any time that 25,000 watt light bulb across the street from me goes out, people start getting shot at, stabbed, beat up, raw. I'm used to that. Florida was no. I have no fear of shit like that after dealing with my neighborhood. Florida's not worse than where I live now. Can't possibly be worse than where I live now. Fort Lauderdale was not scary. Florida was not scary. I will move to Florida. The Golden Girls live there. I want to sit on their lanai. What's a lanai? I like the Golden Girls. Indiana is the ticket man. I've never been to Indiana. Yeah, I remember walking around Cambridge, Massachusetts. Oh my God, the stores in that neighborhood. I would see a space and think, all right, it's as big as my store, which means it's probably going to be 10 to 20,000 bucks. And I would call the real estate agent, and they would say something like $58,000 to $70,000. It's just, you are out of your fucking mind. You are all out of your mind. Nah, no, thank you. Next. Tijuana, rent is dirt cheap. Just don't ask your neighbor where the ATM is. I'm missing something there. Atlanta? Never been to Atlanta. I've never been to Atlanta, but I'd like to travel someday. Indiana's low taxes and it's cheap as hell to live here. Delaware, no sales tax. That's interesting. Minnesota. I've never been to Minnesota, but I'd like to try. Like to check it out. Colorado. I don't think I've ever been to Colorado. Wyoming. Have not been to Wyoming. Maybe Oregon, but that is kind of the same crap. I don't know anything about Oregon, so I can't say. I haven't heard anything about Oregon, so I can't say. Coming to Toronto, we just won an NBA championship. I'm not really into basketball. I'm a little too short to be into basketball. And I'm slow. And I have no hand-eye coordination. Montana. I want to visit Montana just because of Frank Zappa's song that's titled Montana, even though that probably has nothing to do with the actual place. You also have really beautiful mountains there. Lexington, Kentucky. Lexington, Kentucky. I've always wanted to visit. That's where Jim Teal at Teal Audio is making all of the world's best speakers. I always wanted to visit Lexington, Kentucky just to shake Jim Teal's hand, but then he died of cancer since he's... So that happens when you smoke, when you're a chain smoker, I imagine. I really missed the fact that I never got to... Yeah, can you put a note for this that says, done, fixed, needs ultrasonic testing and all that stuff?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you very much, Hi-Hi. Matt donated $1. Thank you very much for your $1. I don't necessarily deserve that, but I appreciate it. Come visit Louisiana and experience our awful humidity. You know, I've heard a lot of really nice things about Louisiana from Dino, one of my good friends, about just how the culture in Louisiana was much different from New York. You know, even though there was people who wanted to... the way he mentioned it, it's possible to get scammed in Louisiana, but it wasn't like your friends scam you. Because in New York City, you have people who are your friends that smile as they're trying to fuck you over. Whereas in Louisiana, it sounded like there was a bit more a sense of just basic ethics and honor, even if you were dealing with thievery and other stuff. So I would definitely want to check out Louisiana. Louisiana's the best food. Don't come if you're on a diet. Yeah, I've heard that too. Someone says he'd shoot Linus. I don't know how to shoot a gun. I barely can shoot a Nerf gun. Have you been to Texas? I don't think so. Is California a good place to get an IT support entry-level job for a guy just out of university? IT support, in my opinion, again, take it for what it's worth, as somebody that could never get a real job to save his life, is a job that I think is dying. That entire field of is the, opening ports and if, break, fix kind of basic stuff, I don't think that that's going to exist for that much longer. When you look at stuff like 10, 15 years ago, setting up a PBX, fixing a PBX, that was a big thing. Now it's most new companies, old companies have people doing that already. New companies just decide to go for, a lot of them go for these cloud solutions or cloud PBXs or already. A lot of the most basic shit that you would be doing as IT support seems to be moving to cloud, and also seems to be stuff where the software is getting so good that you're kind of not needed anymore. And a lot of it is also outsourced. So I would not necessarily be... Thank you very much, Andrew Shepard. I don't deserve $1, but you gave it to me anyway. Thank you. Yeah, I really don't think that it's a field that is booming. Again, if you were looking to get into that 10 or 15 years ago or something, I'm sure that there was a gold rush for people that did that stuff. And now it seems like everybody already does that. Can you put that with that computer so Paul doesn't cry? By the way, thank you. That just seems like it's going away. Maybe DevOps, but again, that's not really my field, so I can't really say. Get an AWS certification, learn to code on the side. Maybe. Ubiquitous remote desktop has rendered a lot of IT stuff moot. Yeah. The demand for IT is there, but it's a tipping point, and those with software skills will be more successful. Perhaps. Again, that would be a question for somebody like Eli, the computer guy, that actually speaks to people in the field on a regular basis and would be able to give you a somewhat informed opinion. That's not really for me to say. Good to see your internet is working again. Is it? What am I streaming at? Is this like 2 megabit per second or something? Is my internet working? I am streaming at 2 megabits. Yeah, this is not working internet. This is 2 megabit per second. I'm surprised you're able to see anything. There's still going to be a need for local people to do hardware setups and networking. The rest is migrating to fat clouds and thin clients. Absolutely. I'm not saying that it's dead. I'm just saying that there's enough people doing it already that have the seniority, that have the experience, that have the connections, that if for those basic level jobs, they're holding on to them for dear life. And the chances of you getting them are pretty slim, in my opinion. Because, again, you're trying to enter a field that other people were in and working in for 10, 15 years before you. So how are you going to differentiate yourself to be worthwhile? So now you can differentiate yourself based on price, where you say, well, that person wants, $120,000 a year. I'll do it for only 80 or 70 or something. Or you could differentiate yourself by having a different and more valuable skill set. Why, hello. How are you?
Good.
Mwah.
Are you live streaming?
Indeed.
Oh,
How's your MacBook working?
good.
Have you arrived for warranty?
Huh?
We are closed.
Get the fuck out of my store.
We are...
Get the fuck out of my store.
What?
We
No.
are closed.
Watch me.
We
watch
are
me.
closed. We are closed.
Who's here? Just you two?
Just us. Why are you still here? Hi.
I don't know. Oh, I know
Well,
why.
he's a stream
Because
assistant.
I was gonna take the footage from the stream from today. But
Oh, this one? I haven't even finished I'm not done yet. It's going to take you forever. Yeah, I should probably
What?
stop this so that you can go home. So you're waiting here for me to finish this.
I mean, I can just go home.
You should probably go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, because by the time once I hit stop, it's going to take you so long to transfer all that to your laptop. Yeah, I should have made a separate file. I'm sorry. I'm being an idiot. All right.
Oh, look at
That's it
this.
for today. And as always, I hope you learned something.
See?
Good night. She says good night as well. Are you still using a Mac?
Huh?
Are you still using a Mac?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not? But
Why?
you just fixed it.
I know. So you
What?
could sell it and buy something
no,
else.
So it can last a very, very long time.
We're going to talk about this over dinner.
Huh? Hey, 2020, you're the MacBook.
We're going to talk about this.